Hi, welcome to Scotty Wandering. My name is Peter. July 2023, my wife and I went on our 25th anniversary dream trip to Iceland. Today, I'm going to share with you what it's like camping in Iceland. So I'm going to show you our campground tours from all over the country and give you a good experience of what it's like to camp in Iceland. Well, welcome to Iceland. Our first stop was at Happy Campers to get our camper van that we'll be living in for the next week. Second stop was Bonus. Just spent about 60 bucks to get ourselves a couple days worth of food. Not too bad. Now we're gonna go explore the island. Welcome to the town of Vik and the famous black sand beach. We rolled into our campsite about 11:30 last night by the time we got here, and the place was packed. They can still check us in even at that hour. So I'm going to put you up on a poll, see what it looks like, and tell you, when I got here, it was not just packed, it was alive. There were more people running around than there certainly are this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to put you up on a pole, let you look around and see what it's like. Famous black sand beach is right over that way, and that's going to be our first destination this morning. Welcome to day 3, 2.5 of Iceland on our trip. It's probably about 3 in the morning now. We got our at least half asleep, ready to go for the day, but woke up not being able to see anything. So the views will be a whole lot less epic today, and we'll have to focus on what's nearby, because over there is a mountain, whole mountain range, and there was fog just flowing out of the mountain all last night. I don't see a mountain anymore. So we'll see what our day brings. This is our campground for the night. We camped on the other side of the building, up on the hill, with the view out to that mountain, and woke up to nothing. Just we could see the birds on the shoreline, but that was it. Let's go take a look down there. So at this campground, this is the electric section around this mound. So if you wanted electric, you have to be in this section. So we had spent the night up on the hill here, set up so we can look out. It's much cooler today, at least at this hour, whatever hour it is. That's the beauty of this trip, is you can set your own hours in the summer, and it seems like people do come and go as they please, whenever they please, because time doesn't matter, and adjusting to your time back home doesn't really matter, or to here, other than if you need to do shopping. So tide's out right now. It does come up. You can see the tide line down there. Like I said, there's some mountains out there we can't see anymore. Yeah, with people here from all over the world coming here with different time sets in their body and things, you can just live with what you normally are. You know, you don't have to work by the locals' time, except if you want to go shopping. But if you want to go explore the landscapes, everything's open 24/7. And if it doesn't really get dark, you can do it anytime you want. From that campground, early in the morning, we hopped over to Vestrahorn Camping, which is known as the photographer's campground. Not so much this day that we were there, but it is also the site of the Witcher set. Well, we found a campsite for the night. What town are we in? Do you remember?
Huh?
Do you remember what town this is?
Yes. Hauganes.
Hauganes?
Hauganes.
We're in Hauganes. It's a little town. Looks like a nice little fishing village. Oh, let's look this way. On the fjord with foggy hillsides on both sides of us right now. There's whale watching out of the town. Little cafe, there's a fishing market, and we got hot tubs and a black beach. All at the campground. The hot tubs are cost extra. So this is the cute little town. And to actually get to the campground, you just, off the main road, it sends you heading down toward the fjord. Follow it all the way down and through the slope around Rainbow Crosswalk, and there's a little sign for the camping. Don't follow the GPS directions that we were given, and I'll show you where it was taking us. So, town is over there, and you come down the road here and turn, and there's the campground. GPS directions wanted us on this road, but it wanted us to start up there and come down this little farm road. Now, we knew that was wrong once we got up there, and luckily we could turn around because we didn't have a trailer, and saw someone coming with a trailer. But I'll show you the pictures we just took up there that were really kind of cool just because we happened to be there. Now, most campsites in this country, you pay per person per night. And we're looking at about $15 per person per night. 2,000 krona, Icelandic. This one, you pay online. You just show up, pay online. I guess you could have just scanned that and paid online. That might have been easier. But you have to have Wi-Fi. And so make sure your vehicle has Wi-Fi. Most of the rental campers have that as an option. Once you've paid, you just kind of drive around until you find a spot to fit in. Luckily, this is a fairly remote location, so hopefully it doesn't get too crowded. Several of the places we've been to and much more crowded locations or more busier parts of the island, they're just jam full with people crawling all over each other and extension cords everywhere. This right now is fairly quiet. I think we're around 8 or 9 o'clock at night right now. But the other ones, people are still coming in at midnight because who cares when the sun's barely sets. Well, good morning. What a difference a few hours makes in a place like this. Last night, around 11:30 at night, the sun was setting and peaks of the mountains were lit up, and I tried to get some great shots. I don't know if I did or not. We'll see. If I did, I'll show you what I got. But the difference is, there's the mountains. They're over there. Woke up to just seeing just a world of fog around us. Can't see any of the epic views that I went to bed to. Well, we'll try to drive out of it and see what happens. So we picked our campground tonight a little earlier than usual. Specific town we want to be in because there's an object over there I want to photograph. I'll show you that in a little bit. But this is our campground. It's got the square where you just kind of randomly pick where you want to be. The area back here hidden away is good for tents, and up there, and I guess the old quarry, is some more RV sites. Not much for facilities, just a container with 2 bathrooms and the sink on the outside. But next door is a community building with the pool and the showers and the jumping pillow over here. So there's plenty to do here. You just got to work with the hours of the community building. Oh, and there's a fee if you just want to use the showers. But if you use the pool, that's included because they want you to shower before you use the pool. So if you use the pool, you're going to get a shower. And you can see jumping pillow, well used. Now, one other question. In, say, Wisconsin, you're told as a kid, come home when the streetlights come on. What do they do in Iceland? Kids were out until after midnight last night playing around because it was still light out. I wonder what the rules are here. I wonder how, parents deal with that. Kids are up. At least they're outside playing. Well, now you can see what I want to photograph. I'm going to a spot to take pictures of that. It'll be a little bit of a hike. Could drive down there, but then my wife wouldn't be sitting at the campsite. And you gotta pay for parking. So I'm making a hike. Well, I've made it out to my hiking destination, and it's not that volcano that just appeared out of the clouds up there, ancient volcano. But you can clearly see the dome or the rim and the center dome popping up in it. Hadn't seen that until just a few minutes ago when the clouds finally cleared. But this is why I'm here. That mountain and these falls together, creating a very iconic shot of Iceland right here. Outside this cute little fishing village with this little tidal pool, which I think the tide has finally came in, and it should be calm now because the water was rushing in before. So I've taken a few pictures. They've had a lot of work done in this area. There's paid parking now, so I hiked it out here tonight. But they're really keeping you contained within the ropes. So you get the same picture everybody else does. There's not a lot of variety available. But it's still an iconic place, beautiful place to come visit. Hi, and welcome to Scotty Wandering here from Iceland. If you're new to the channel, my name's Peter, and normally I'm wandering campgrounds in Wisconsin in the USA. Today I'm going to show you how Iceland camps. But first, let me tell you where I am. I am in the Golden Circle, which is where several different geological features and attractions are that are not on the coast. They're not part of the ring road. We're now in the Golden Circle, and I'm at Geysir. The earth is steaming just outside my campsite here. So we're gonna take a tour around the campground first, and then we'll head on off to see Geysir. Now, unlike at home where you have your campsite, here you have space. Pick a spot. Don't say it's my spot. Don't expect people not to walk through your spot, because you may wake up the next day and find someone is parked in that spot you thought no one could fit in. People will be coming in into all hours of the night because, well, it's really never night, and they've been out doing what we've done on our first couple days, which is go to as many sites and work into the night, because hey, at home it's only 8 o'clock at night. Why would I pack up here when it's still daylight? So this one, I have a sort of a push you for sites for tents here, and he encouraged us to park over here we look alone right now in that lime van that we got from Happy Campers. But I expect someone else is going to move in overnight. Let's go take a look at some other sections. Oh, and that is the trail that will take us off to the Geysir Basin. You just drive around until you find a spot you want to plunk down. If you're looking for level, good luck. Like this Jeep had plunked down here in the middle. Probably thinking he had the space to all himself. Now we got this Land Rover over there. So this is sort of a little back nook. And then there's another nook over here. See a lot of pop-up campers in Iceland. This particular design is quite popular too. I don't think I'd really want to drag a trailer around in Iceland. We just struggled at the grocery store trying to find a place to park our van. There's no way you get in and out with a trailer. Just park wherever and see how close people wind up, and some are sharing space and some aren't. So this is the main welcome center. There are showers in there, the limited hours. There's also the bathrooms, which are open all night. Now we're going to head out down that way. Oh, and the showers are extra. So the big RV on the side of the trees, they just parked up front because it's probably the easiest for them. This nice little van here got a nice little nook that seems fairly flat. But you can see how people are kind of parked all over. Just the goal is not to park somebody in, and that can be a real challenge. Continuing on here, you can see we have beautiful mountains in the background. The weather can change quite drastically out here. Our first couple days were bright and sunny, and you can see forever. And now it's, today's a little better than it has been, but we were wandering the coast where I wouldn't have been able to see that mountain from where we are now. So in Iceland, you don't really have to worry about booking. There's no booking campsites ahead of time. You show up. The earlier in the day you get here, the more choice you have of spots. Maybe finding something that's level or not. But you might miss out on something. You could just go see another attraction, see another waterfall, see another geyser before it gets, until you're tired. Let's put it that way. Let's not say before it gets dark. And then go find a campsite. There are campsites all over. On the way to Geysir, from starting at the Golden Circle at the National Park, I think we passed at least 3 other campgrounds. Some of those were already jam full when we came through. This is right now kind of empty. These are kind of interesting little buildings. A lot of buildings built into the side of hillside around here. So for the locals, people from Iceland, although it's hard to tell who they are because everybody's renting, or for Europeans who have taken vehicles over on a ferry and have 4 weeks of vacation, they may plunk down at a campground and spend a little time here. For us, tourists coming from another country that are flying in, renting a vehicle to camp in, or just getting equipment to tent in, you're only spending a night. It's really just to sleep, maybe make a meal, and be up bright and early in the morning and go on to the next thing. Now I thought there was another section, but I guess this is all of it. But plenty of room still here at this hour. So the registration, laundry, showers, bathrooms there, and a little parking lot to get more situated. Right across the road from that is the welcome center for the Geysir Center, which is sort of the welcome restaurant. I think there's a hotel there for the Geysir, but the Geysers are on this side of the road, so we actually have easier access. So that's the campground tour. Fairly typical for Iceland. Every town has a campground. There's plenty in between as well. There's always a place to stay. So something to know in Iceland: yes, you can rent camper vans, you can get tents and everything, but you must stay at approved campgrounds. You can't just go boondocking wherever you want. They're very restrictive about that. They want you to use the campgrounds and not go parking wherever you want and spending the night. Now, if you need to nap during the day, you can do that, but don't camp just anywhere.
Make sure you put another hand there.
All right. Now that we're at a viewpoint, the little green van down there is where we are. And the main geyser is over here, steaming right now. And if you watched my videos before, you might know I like a good campground with good trails coming off of them. And this one's got a great trail. A little undersold on the hill that's involved. But beautiful location. Welcome to our new campsite for the next night here at Skógafoss. You can see our little green van back there. This one truly is a parking lot. It is also the parking lot to come and check out those falls. So that was in the background all night long. There is a little green space over here for tents, at least there on some grass. There's a little river. Of course, the water comes down, river goes by. And we're gonna check out these falls. I've got to have a bird yelling at me in a video. Yep, good morning. Oh, I missed these sites over here. So the trade-off you get here is you can be close to the waterfall, but that just puts you further from the bathroom in the middle of the night. And while sitting in my camp chair last night, I felt like somebody came up and kind of wiggled my chair. We had a little earthquake in the area last night, which is something I've never felt before. Lots of places to rent campers in Iceland. It's Cuckoo Campers, there's Go Campers, Easy Camp. We got Happy Campers. Happy Campers also has Cheap Campers, which is more like this. And no camping or drones past this point. So storytelling is a big part of Icelandic tradition, and the story here at these falls is that one of the first settlers buried his chest of gold and stuff under the, or not, didn't bury, hid his stuff under the falls, and for a long time you could kind of see the little corner of the chest peeking out from the waterfalls, and a couple guys decided to get a hook and rope and throw it and try to catch it, and they failed in their mission. But that hook that failed, I guess maybe broke or something, was then placed on a church door, is now in the museum. So there is some physical evidence of that story. Oh, you want to see the falls? get misty. So we started our day at a campground at a waterfall. We're ending our day at a campground right in Reykjavík. We're pretty much close to downtown near the waterfront here. Campground has two sections. There's the RV section. Every side is pretty much flat. Power on the outside edges. Some of the bigger ones have different spaces. The other section is the tent section. Now this is connected to a hostel over here. So you can stay in the hostel if you want, or you can tent out here. And if you notice, there's almost no cars here, because a lot of the people here walked in. And this area seems to be popular with groups. This seems to be a youth group here. There's a whole series of tents over there. They're identical. And another series out here that are identical, which implies that it's some sort of tours. They're taking advantage of this. So this is a whole nother wing of the tent section over here. There's a lot of room for tenting. And this keeps going around. Now this section does allow small RVs or vans like we have, could be camping here as well, but we'll let the tenters have it. And I see a cat over there. So cats are Reykjavík, that's the thing. So the tents have a facilities here in the middle, but that's not the only of the tent section. That's not the only facilities. So when you register, you get a code for either the gates, that one for the tenting, that one for the RV section, and then more importantly, you get a code for the facilities behind this berm. So the facilities between the two sets of campsites, the big building over there is kitchen area, so you can cook your meals, eat your meals. There's a TV in there, and most importantly, it's a warm place to hang out, which at times can be very important, especially if you're tenting. On this side, we have laundry facilities, and then men's and women's bathrooms, plenty of toilets and showers that are included in this one. And then they got this barbecue pit. It's like you can buy charcoal grates to cook on, and plenty of places to wash up your dishes over there. What did we do today between that waterfall and here? Well, it was along the southern shore, along the ring road, and basically we did the wool circle. We visited a spinnery, we visited a wool dyer, we visited a couple other marketplaces for local wool, as well as a handcrafting store in Reykjavík. And that is right down in the city center, so we explored the city center. Well, we fly out tomorrow, but it's time to give you a van tour. Not that one. This one. This is the Happy Camper van that we rented, and we're going to walk you through it. We'll start up front. Basically, there's not much to show here other than one important note. The cup holder that comes with it is very small. It does hold soda cans from here that they have in this country, but our water bottles had to go in the door, and it is a stick shift. They do have automatics as well, but most common is stick shift. Now, yes?
One thing I wish I had brought was a travel mug for coffee, or gotten a travel mug for coffee that would fit into that, because drinking, this is the only place I had to put my drink, and that's not a good place for coffee.
Yeah, and the coffee cups that came with the van didn't fit in there, and they're kind of not travel mugs anyway. All right, so it has nice little 12-volt outlet there, as well as some USB ports there that are quite handy. They're hooked up to a house battery in here, not to the engine battery. The battery in here charges off the engine as you're driving around, which you do a lot of in Iceland. We also have a Webasto heater, diesel heater here. She's cranking that up. We'll see if it kicks in or not. So that comes out down below the seat over here. So you got to make sure once you have the bed made that you don't block that outlet if you use the heater.
And we've only had to use it a little bit this trip.
Yeah. In the summer, it's not important. I'm sure in the winter, you got to have it.
Oh, for sure.
Nice little plot spot for the stove. And these 4 bins, they provide silverware, cups, plates, and some pots and pans. And give you a whole bin that is just for food. Did you want to mention those?
Yeah. So when you are on the eastern portion of the country, there are no potties. None at all. So your 2 favorite friends are going to be this and maybe some of these or something like that. I use these a lot. And then there's extra butane under here.
We didn't even get into a second bottle, did we?
They gave us one that was slightly empty and 3 full ones. So we did start a first of the 3 that were full.
Okay, I'm going to go around the other side quickly. So one of the things I really like about this layout is you have the option of an outdoor kitchen. And now I can get my big water bottle under here to fill it up when we pump it up. Now, we did wind up at the end having an issue getting that to pump.
But it was great.
It was great up until then. And to refill the water, you pull the blue hose out. Just take this out. All the campgrounds have hoses to fill up the water. All the water in this country is great water. And these bins are actually more accessible, especially if you have the bed made from the outside. And the sink here, the water just drains right out onto the ground. And that is one of the reasons they really encourage you to use campsites, because they want that kind of stuff draining in the campsites, not out in the middle of nowhere. And there are campsites all over this country. We also have a fridge. This lid just happens to be broken, and it makes it easier, actually.
It's actually quite large. It's about twice the size of our fridge in our van.
It's pretty darn big.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we'd just be getting a cooler, but it is a temperature set fridge. It is very good.
And we've been living off of this and brie and skinka is ham and crackers, and these blueberries from Portugal are to die for. They're really, really good blueberries.
Big blueberries.
Yeah.
One of the best features that is an adder at Happy Camper is this tablet. This tablet has our Wi-Fi hotspot, and it also has all sorts of built-in from Happy Camper guides to help you get around the country.
And you can build your own trips too.
Yeah, so she's done it as navigator, spent a lot of time on that looking for attractions on our way.
So this is our trip today, where we started out here and went up to Reykjavík. Did a lot of wool shopping
the wool
today.
tour, the wool circle, pretty much on that trip. All right. Quickly before we do this, curtains all around, and they're just held in. You just pull them out of here, slide on the rail, close them off, and they're all the way around. They don't black out. Oh, do we have our mask? Do you have a mask handy?
No, we'll get that in a minute.
Okay. So they're not blackout curtains, but they at least give you privacy all the way around. And so we have a seat here. If you have a third person, there's a seat, with a seat belt, or someone you can hang out back here and drive if they want. But
and that twists around too.
Oh yeah, and this front seat is on a swivel, so that's handy too. All right, go ahead. And this leaves room under here.
Yeah, there's a lever right here that you push down, and then you've got to pull up. It does help to be a tall person.
And her arm fits. My arm doesn't. I had to go halfway and switch my arm. Lever, a bar pulled there, and that drops down.
And then you get Peter's camera bag out of the way.
And that's why we have room under the bed.
They give you this nice mat, which does an okay job. It's better than nothing, but both of us felt the bars quite a bit.
Now, this van is actually probably one of their older ones. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's been around the ring road a few times. So you get the double duvets, which is standard here. You get your own smaller duvet. And then
you get
pillows. Yeah.
If you're going to buy anything at Costco and leave it behind, this might be one of them, because this is pretty flat. But these are the sleep masks Peter was talking about.
Yeah, I've had picked those up before our trip. Actually, you know, I got my first one a couple months ago. They are padded. They are complete light block, and it's like a warm hug for your head.
Yeah, it's sensory deprivation, and it's quite lovely. I wear them at home now.
There's a little light in the back corner, as well as another 12-volt plug back there.
And this actually is pretty bright. I was impressed by it. Should I fold the bed back up?
So how quick going from night to day is. Just roll that to the back. Flip that one up. There are headrests that we put off into the side. Flip the lever.
Push.
Oh, push the lever. Push the lever. Flips over. And now we got a place to hang out in the van. And easier access to those. But like I said, even when the bed's down, you can still access the cubbies from the outside. So as we were packing up at Happy Camper, they offered to go ahead and pick out a couple chairs and a table. So these all fit. So the table actually is small enough that on edge it slides in here. We got room for our luggage back here. Most of our dirty laundry wound up over here as we were traveling. Most of that's cleaned up now as we're getting ready to get to the airport tomorrow. So Happy Camper also offered up, I don't know if they're for extra for rent or to borrow, they had towels. We brought our own microfiber towels, so they're big, that we had just really gotten for ourselves for travel, but they have towels there, so that's one less thing you have to bring as well. And they also have, Happy Camper also offers up maps to buy, and they have a store swap. So things that you have left over, you can leave behind for the next campers. We picked up some jelly, some Nutella, and a couple of soups, and we'll be leaving behind a bunch of food that gives us more room for travel and back.
Have an agreement with the credit card processing companies to get you a tax refund from the government if it is over 12,000 Icelandic krona. You can get this little guide thing, and they say it's very easy to go in. It's the first thing that you see in the airport when you walk in to get your tax refund up to 14%. So you'll get something that looks like this. You will have to fill out on the form your credit card information and your contact information, and then you can get a credit.
And most of those stores have signs say tax-free shopping, so look for those.
And it's not on food or gas
or any probably tourism services. It's things you will take home physically. Yeah. So that's our tour of the van. Now that's all the video I have recorded for you from Iceland on this subject of camping in Iceland. But there are a few subjects that I didn't get to that I'm going to cover now. Number one is, how big is Iceland? Most of my viewers are from Wisconsin, so a Wisconsin map might help. So I'm going to show a Wisconsin map with Iceland overlaid it, just to show you how doable a trip to Iceland in a week is, and to see a lot of sights. As you can see by this map, Iceland's not that big. And for the most part, when you're traveling around the coastline. Most of the attractions are out there. There's the Golden Circle section, which is easy access from Reykjavík, and a lot of people do that just because they can fly in, go to Reykjavík, take a tour bus around it, and be done and get out of town. But there's so much more to explore outside the Golden Circle. The speed limit in Iceland is 100 kilometers an hour, and that's about 60 miles an hour. You're not going to want to go faster than that. There are speed cameras. The road is only a 2-lane road, and in some places only 1-lane bridges that you have to cross, and you have to watch out for sheep. Nationwide, in the summer, the sheep are released into just out everywhere. to wander around and graze, and then they're brought back in the fall. So you have to watch out for the sheep. It's usually a mom and her 1 or 2 babies along with her that you will see. So that is pretty much the biggest hazard out there in Iceland. There's nothing else trying to kill you, except maybe a volcano. And that's, usually you're pretty well aware where those are and what's going on with those, with plenty of warning. Now, like I said, when you're traveling Iceland, you mainly drive around the ring road or along some coastal roads up and down the fjords or out to the west fjords. If you're going to the inland portion of the country, that's called the highlands. And for that, you need a 4x4 vehicle, and you can pretty much only access it in the summer. Those roads are pretty much closed throughout the winter. Campgrounds, they are everywhere. Here's a map from Happy Campers showing where all the campgrounds are. Never worry about finding a campsite. I was there in the busy season, and there was always room. Yes, in Vik, on my first night, which we showed up, like I said, at 11:30 at night, it was pretty packed, but there was still room. There was still availability, and they let you in. And that'll lead me to my next topic, is how you pay for campsites. It varies. Some sites, like Vik and a couple others where there's a reception building, you pay there at the reception. And sometimes they're privately run. Some of them are city run. Some of them are run by an attraction, which is usually owned by somebody. So you have to pay at site when you get there. And then like at Geysir, when we stayed there, we had the option of paying an additional extra to get a shower. Some places that is included, or some places you're just paying coins for a shower. Some places you pay online. And some places they will come around and collect. So you just stay at your campsite. Someone will be by with a card reader, because you pay for almost everything with credit cards or debit cards there. Almost no cash. So you don't need to be carrying cash. They will come around with a little card reader, and how many people, and charge you for that many people. Now, would we do it again? Absolutely. We absolutely love traveling in the camper van. Now, I will admit, gas or diesel fuel prices there are very high. So even though we didn't travel that far, fuel cost was fairly high, even for a small van. But traveling in a camper van is something that I have been doing on a self-built one we own. And if you're a regular viewer of our channel, you will see me traveling in that van all over. And it has inspired us, my wife and I, to take on this kind of adventure in the future. We're planning something hopefully for next summer on the West Coast. We're going to do a little camper van excursion out there. We need to book a camper van. There are plenty of camper van companies to do that with. And probably in the future, maybe even hitting parts of Europe the same way. So yes, the traveling in a camper van was definitely worth it, and a great flexible way to travel the country and not have to worry about a time schedule. So thanks for coming along on this video with me, showing you what campgrounds are like in Iceland, at least the ones we stayed at, randomly picked out based on where we were at the time when we got tired at night and decided we were done traveling for a few hours. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you got something out of it. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and you'll see more things like this. And like I mentioned, for the most part, my channel is Wisconsin-based, but we do get out once in a while outside of our state and explore the world and the country around us. Get on out there. Thanks for watching, and watch out for sheep.